Today we're going to do a Bob Ross tutorial on a very tiny canvas.
Let's have them graphically run all the colors across the screen that you need.
I won't be using the same colors from the tutorial, but I will color match as close as possible. The most important thing you want to do is start with a wet canvas. This means you want to apply a thin layer of liquid clear or white.
Crisscross strokes. Just make little X's. And let's put in a happy little cloud, little sky.
I won't be using a 2-inch brush because this is such a tiny canvas, so I just decided to use a flat, small brush and it worked just the same.
Just continually use these little crisscross strokes and allow the color to, it just literally blends with the liquid white. Phthalo green, so we have phthalo blue and phthalo green. Maybe we'll have a little water in here. So we'll just pull right across like this.
I used the same dirty brush, just added a little bit of green.
There. All right, now with a nice clean brush, now we'll go right back up here. And we'll just blend the sky out a little bit. Still using the little crisscross strokes.
It definitely is a little bit harder to do crisscross strokes on such a small canvas, but it definitely is possible. Just try to find your smallest brush.
Okay, load a lot of paint into the brush. Let's go up here now. Now maybe there's a happy little clouds that just sort of float right around in the sky and have fun. Just sort of mix them up on here. Clouds are very free.
Instead of the circular motions he suggested, I just tapped some cloud shapes into my canvas. Since my canvas is so tiny, it was a lot easier to just tap in the shape of the clouds. After I was done making the initial shapes, I used a clean dry brush to just blend in the bottom of the clouds to make it seamlessly blend into the sky.
And you can put as many or as few as you want. Okay, now then we'll take a clean, dry, be sure it's dry, 2-inch brush, and I'm going to just gently blend it. Use circular strokes. There you go. Let's go up here. Now then, you have to make an almighty decision. Where's your mountain live? I think he's going to live. He is now. Right there. Right there.
So you can easily use a liner brush or any other small brush to make the silhouette of the mountains, but in the Bob Ross spirit, I decided to use the palette knife like him. It's super easy. You just want to scrape the paint into the canvas, and then eventually we will end up using a brush to blend it out.
Now scrape off all the excess paint. Here I'm just really using firm pressure, pushing that paint right into the fabric. Now then, we'll take a 2-inch brush and I want to grab it and pull. This removes excess paint and blends it out so it gets lighter at the bottom.
So now it's time to use a palette knife to highlight the mountain. Again, I'm going to use the small edge of the palette knife.
You see there? Let it float right down the side of that mountain. Look at there. Look at there. See? Just follow the angles in your mountain and let it float. Absolutely no pressure.
So for these mountains, I really tried to follow Bob Ross's instructions by following the angles of the mountain. You really have to make sure that you barely touch the canvas with the paint.
Big decisions. Maybe this peak right here. Oh, look here. Look here. There it comes. See? See? You can bring it right in front. I want to touch.
Now it's time to paint the shadow of the mountain.
Just pull down. Now we're following the angles on the other side of the mountain. Watch here. I want to push that back. So we'll come here, and then I'll come distinctly through. See how it pushes that peak right back?
For the shadow of the mountain, you want to add a little bit more blue to make it darker than the white paint. Make sure to pull in the opposite direction and follow the same angle. So far, so good. The palette knife technique making these mountains really is working for even a tiny canvas.
Pops out at you. It brings it alive. The shadows are very important. See, now we have a little hunk of paint right here that doesn't look like much until we add a shadow under it. See there, you add a shadow and it becomes a separate entity. Becomes a ridge all by itself. Come right over in here and just pull in all kinds of happy things. Again, that's the way you learn. If there's a secret to anything, it's practice. Just practice. And you really can do this.
So now that we're done doing the mountains, you want to use a clean dry brush to just tap out the bottom of the mountain and create a misty bottom layer basically. You may need to clean your brush in between.
There, all I'm doing is tapping and then lifting upward. The lifting upward like that removes the tap marks and creates that nice soft misty area down there. And over here we follow these angles. Always follow the angles that you've created in your mountains. It's just tapping. Isn't that fantastic?
So now we're going to start on the bushes in the background. First we're going to load up our liner brush with a gray color and just tap in some bush shapes.
Mm. Look at there, look at there. See, isn't that a super easy way to make little footy hill? Okay, let's go back up here. Maybe there's another little footy hill, and he lives right here. By being a little darker, it stands out. As things get closer to you in a landscape, they should get darker in value, darker in color.
So the main thing you really need to keep in mind when doing these bushes are making sure that the layers are darker as you get closer.
Watch here. Maybe you want to come right in here and put the indication of another one. There's no limit, but they need to get a little darker as they work forward. Look at there. If I'm not careful, I'm going to cover up the whole canvas with foothills and mountains. Okay, now I'll use a fan brush. Load it full of paint, a lot of paint, both sides. Okay, let's go right up here. Maybe there's some little evergreens that live back here in the distance. Here, I'm just going to take
So for these evergreens, I am using a fan brush like Bob Ross, but I'm only using the very corner just to get very small little lines. I did load up my brush full of paint so that it easily sticks to the canvas.
Ooh, there's a nice one. See, just tap down right though. It makes those nice little happy tops up there. Just watch here on a wet canvas, so all you do is grab it and pull it down. Just grab and pull down, straight down. Where the trees are taller, pull down a little further. Look at that, look at that. Instant reflections. Firmly, and just cut in a happy little waterline. And keep this basically straight. You can go anywhere you want to go, but the individual strokes should be straight. Otherwise your water's going to look like it's running right out of your painting and get your floor wet. Then you're going to be upset with me. We want you to be happy. There. See? Maybe a little ripple here and there. All kinds of happy little things. Isn't that easy? That easy, you got it. Brush. Begin working back and forth. And we got to put some arms on it. Little arms so we can reach up and gather the sun up. Look at there. Look at that. Corner. And you sort of make those bristles bend downward.
Instead of using the 2-inch brush, I just used a fan brush to create the evergreens.
And give it a little push. Just bend the bristles. See there? And then form your tree. Just like so. It's that easy. Just form your basic shapes. Sometimes you get carried away and just keep going there. What the heck? We'll just push that little lake way back in the distance. What the heck? When you have this kind of power, you can move lakes anywhere you want them.
So for this part, you could really use any brush. We're just creating the dark shadow that we're going to put some bushes on top after.
Maybe there's a little tree trunk that lives right here. See?
Instead of a palette knife, I'm just using a liner brush with the beige color I created with some brown and white and just making random lines. These will look like tree trunks eventually once we put some highlight color over it.
Shh. Keep our secret. Now let's take a 1-inch brush and we'll dip it right into some of the liquid. And there's a little liquid white on the brush. That makes the paint thinner. Thin paint will stick to a thick paint. Now, let's put some leaves on this. This is what begins bringing this painting alive. And worry about little forms here. Don't just throw them on at random.
When creating these bushes, just make sure to keep some shadows in between.
These layers create the illusion of distance in your painting. Here I'm using the brush sideways and just, can you see that? Pushing it upward. That's all there is to it. So you have to sort of pick them out. Pull them out. There they are. See that? There he is. Here's one back here. Just a sideward tree, little color. And right in here, we'll have another little bush. See, but they're just layered.
So now I'm just going to use my fan brush to just highlight the trees, and I'm using the palette knife to create a little trail, just scraping in some brown color, and then I'm going to highlight it with a lighter brown, and this is just going to make it look like a trail is leading into these bushes.
See, just put some highlight on it.
I jumped ahead a little bit and did the bushes before I did the trail, but I'll just add a little bit more bushes in front and make it look like it's behind it.
Legs here and there. Let a few go right on over like God bless.
And there it goes, the final piece. I'm definitely happy with how it came out. I hope you enjoyed watching.